Good evening, folks. Today we're going to talk about packaging seeds for a seed swap, or for your own personal use, or for giving or gifting to friends and family and whatnot. So it's fairly simple. These are seeds here. These are blueberry tomatoes. Blueberries, cherry tomatoes to be specific. Seeds that I stored, saved myself and stored. Did the whole fermentation process and everything with them. And they have a fairly high germination rate. I want to say it was around 93 or 96%, so it's pretty good. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to need, seeds. As we discussed, I saved these myself from an open pollinated variety of cherry tomatoes called blueberries. You're going to need some sort of packets. Now in my case, I'm going to use these. These are already labeled, but I have a pile here that are not. And I'm going to count out just a few of these, probably 10 or so. So let's see here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now, you might be wondering what this thing is and what this is. So what this is a system that you use in order to create your own custom stamps in order to label things. Now you can do something like that, and then you can see my terrible handwriting. And yeah, I think this is just a much better approach. It's a lot faster too if you're saving seeds on this sort of scale. With 50 seed packets, hand labeling them takes quite a bit of time. So if I do it this way, it's much, much faster. Now the labels on these, just to cover this label maker a little better, this stamp, the labels are made out of individual little stamped letters. As you can see, let's see if I can remember how to get this open. Yeah, so there you go. If you depress it, you're able to see what where the stamps go. So what you do is you slot the stamps in place, you kind of push it like this, and then there's a little clip button here, and then that locks it in place there. And then you take the tweezers that come with the system, like this, and you would take little stamps, like so, and place them. Now as you can see here, I have more room than I actually am using. I might change the line here that says savory flavory, so that's this line right here, to have the website on it for future reference, but for right now I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to unlock this. Alright, now in order to use this, you have to open this part up. Been a while since I used it, so give me just a second. There we go. Alright, and then you're going to take the stamp side, and it's going to go down like so. You have to kind of pick this up just a little bit to load it. So it gets loaded like this, you snap it into place, it clicks like that, and then you're good to go. And you can go like this a few times, just to kind of get the stamp ready to go. Get this out of the way. And I'm just going to stamp a few of these after I get these out of the way. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just kind of like that. Well, that one wasn't very good, was it? We'll get rid of that and pull a different one. Also, I had the stamp upside down, it looks like. Alright, so it's fine. To do that, I'll just put the labels on the left. Okay. So, let's try that again. Yeah, not quite perfect, but it's a lot faster than trying to do it by hand. So let's get the rest of these out of the way. Yeah, maybe it'll be better if I don't do it on top of the stack. Oh, yeah, that's a lot better. Nice. Yeah, okay, we just keep going. You could also kind of assembly line this, right? You could just spread them out like so, and then just go kerchunk, 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 and kerchunk. And there's my 10 labels. And you know what? I have enough seeds. I'm going to do a couple more. I'll give these away to friends. And also save some for myself. I'll probably keep the hand-labeled ones for myself, honestly. Now, even though this was a little bit slow to start, you can see that this was definitely faster in the long run. When you're done, you just pop this up a little bit like this. So it was like that. You just go like this. And then take this part out. Set that down. Then we take this, put the lid back on. That just keeps the stamp nice and moist. Ready to go for our next time around. I'm going to set these aside. And that's the first one I did. I'll keep that one probably for myself as well. Alright, so now I need to count out 20 seeds for each packet. Now at some point we'll go over the process that you use to get tomato seeds ready to go. That'll probably come late summer, I would think. Alright. So anyway, just count out 20 of these. Now, because tomato seeds are, I don't know if you can see this very well, here, I'll grab a little handful of them. So, oops, that was almost a disaster. Anyway, you can kind of see it in the picture here. These are fuzzy seeds. They're just slightly fuzzy, and that makes them stick together and clump, which is not great when you're trying to separate them. And obviously, not all seeds are like that, but every tomato seed I think I've seen has been like this. Move the rest of the seeds out of the way for right now. Now, you grab one of your packages that you've got nicely done here, like so. Make sure it's open. And you just pick up your seeds and drop them in. And these are a kind that you have to lick to seal. So there's that. And blam! 20 more seeds packaged and ready to go. And yeah, it's really that simple. Especially with having a device like this, it really makes the labeling a lot faster. Now this is called a Trodat Printy 4913. I do not remember the cost on it. It wasn't terribly expensive. If you are going to do more than, I would say, 40 seed packets in total that you want to label, this is definitely faster, and I think it's worth the money. I think this was maybe $25 or so. And I expect to get a couple years use out of it. I think that's fair for the price. So yeah, out of all of these packages here, I probably have, I don't know, 1,200 seeds in total. That all came from maybe 35 of these tomatoes. And they're cherry tomatoes, so it was one little bushel, maybe about, not even a bushel, but just like one little containers full of them was enough to make all these seeds. So, definitely a good return. I easily have 60 some seed packets here, or now 50 some seed packets here. I mean, specifically, I should have so this chunk is 40. So that brings us up to 50. I have 55 seed packets here. The maximum I can exchange at the seed swap is 50. So I'm going to pick the 50 that have the nicest labels, and those will be the 50 that go to the seed swap. Everything else I will either keep for myself or distribute among friends. Now, keep in mind, I still have hundreds of these seeds. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. They'll store for a few years, so that's good. I'm not going to need this many seeds for the next season, obviously. And if I were to use seeds from this variety for next year, I would package them for 2024 instead of for 2023, and I would use fresh seeds for that. Just because the seed swap doesn't want a bunch of old seeds. They try to get new seeds when they can. If you're going to be labeling packages like this, there's a few things you really need to probably keep in mind. The name of the cultivar, the kind of plant that it is, and if there's multiple kinds within that group, so here we have indeterminate versus determinate, just so people know that this is a vining tomato, not a bush tomato. The number of seeds, and when it was packed. Now here I also have savory flavory added in, and that is because these tomatoes are not sweet when they are fully ripe. They are instead savory. They taste a lot like regular tomatoes. They're just small and purple, so they're kind of cool. Just make sure that if you're going to eat them when they're fully ripe and not when they're not quite ripe, because the taste changes dramatically as they ripen. For the better, I should say. Now, as I stated previously, this variety of tomato is open pollinated, which means it's on its way, basically, to becoming an heirloom variety. It's not quite there yet, but they do produce true to seed, so you'll be able to get more cherry tomatoes of the blueberries indigo variety from these seeds. In case you were wondering, Envelex paper coin envelopes. They are 2 1/4 by 3 1/2 inches. There's 100 of these in a package. And I have used... I did have to redo some of these after the first batch because I hand wrote them and I wrote them incorrectly. So I want to say I've used, well, I mean there's a 20 pack still there. So I have used 80 of them, not counting the 5 or so that are left here. So 75 of them anyway. Alright, well, if you have any questions, let me know. Until we talk again. Thanks for watching. I appear to barely be making a dent at all. Bleh, cat hair. Tomato snail. Pearl. Hi. What's up, miss? How you doing? You doing good? Are you doing good? Are you doing good, Pearly? Pearly, are you doing good? You having a good night, Pearly? No answer? Really? Ah, okay. That's what I thought.